This was the result of the race for the mayor out in Houston, Texas. Now, this was a runoff between John Whitmire and Sheila Jackson Lee, the current Congresswoman representing, I forgot what district she represents, but nevertheless, she took a bona fide ass whooping last night, as this race wasn't even close. As you could see, John Whitmire took home 64% of the vote. Sheila Jackson Lee only took close to 36% of the vote. And before you get too excited, right? Because even though we're excited that she took this L and she took it badly, despite the fact that she was endorsed by Hillary Clinton, you black Democrats need to stop looking for her endorsement, because it's not ending well for you guys out there looking for Hillary Clinton's endorsement. But anyway, if you think that this is some kind of permanent loss for her or whatever like that, well, unfortunately, Sheila Jackson Lee hedged her bets, because the deadline to file for the congressional seat is tomorrow, and reports are indicating that Sheila Jackson Lee will refile her motion for her reelection campaign as a congresswoman. So all is not lost for Sheila Jackson Lee. Now, in the campaign victory speech, John Whitmire said this. This is what he said. In this campaign victory speech, this is what he said last night. People want to go to work for me because we respect people. We don't bully people. My family taught me to treat people the way you want to be treated, and that works wherever you are. Regardless of what community you're visiting with, treat these individuals like you want to be treated. Now, Whitmire was referring to an audio leak back in October that showed the Congresswoman cursing out one of her staffers over the phone. Jackson Lee blamed the leak on Mayor-elect's operatives. Whitmire repeatedly denied Sheila Jackson Lee's claims. Sheila Jackson Lee also addressed her supporters Saturday night, conceding to the race. Well, you ain't got no choice but to concede because you got your ass beat. She continued working, or she committed to working with Whitmire, congratulating her opponent on the win and defending her record in D.C. What record? What record you have to defend, Sheila Jackson Lee? Get your ass out of here. You pumped up that bullshit ass HR 40 bill, that nothing burger. Yeah, that HR 40 bill is a nothing burger. That's what you were propping up. That's what you were parading around. Just, you have not done nothing. That's why you became mayor. You tried to do the same thing Karen Bass did. Now, for those of you who may not be aware, Karen Bass was a congresswoman, and she um, threw her hat in the ring to become mayor out in Los Angeles. What's up, Terry Smoot? Shout out to Terry Smoot in the building. You know he from out there. Karen Bass ended up winning her uh, bid to become mayor out in L.A., and she's not very well liked out there. Karen Bass is not very well liked out in L.A., but it just goes to show you that your position in politics comes down to the black vote. If you do nothing, you get nothing. If you do nothing, you get nothing. And Sheila Jackson Lee thought she was going to bring her ass down to Houston and parade her ass around there, talk about this record, this and that. That's your record in D.C. What about your record down in Houston? Huh? What about that record? What have you done for the people who elected you as a congresswoman out in Houston? What have you done outside of berate your staffers or cursing them out for all their worth? How can you sit up there with a straight face and fix your mouth to say the stuff you say about your staffers, and then in another breath turn around and talk about how you working for the people out in Houston? You congressional black people, you people in the congressional black caucus are useless. Useless. And then you got buffoons like Roland Martin, right? That three chin, no neck, big titty having motherfucker running his mouth, talking shit, talking about how black folks ain't gonna get no support from the Republicans. Meanwhile, people like Sheila Jackson Lee running around here ain't doing nothing for constituents. You got Gary Chambers out there in Louisiana not doing nothing for his constituents. You got Camel Toe, oh Camel Toe, go sit up there on the interview talk about, I'm not going to stay here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No. All these buffoons that's in the congressional black caucus. You got old nigga Jim Clyburn. All he want to do is a zoom, 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 and a boom, boom at one of his fish fries down in good old Charleston, South Carolina. That's what old nigga Jim Clyburn want to do. He want to do the electric slide while you eating two pieces of white egg with coleslaw, Diet Coke, and French fries. But outside of that, anything but reparations, you're going to get thrown out his fish fry. Al Sharpton, all Al Sharpton want to do is come down to your town after a traumatic event when it comes to black people getting murdered by cops or having some kind of racist atrocity done to them. He'll make a clown show out of it, and then he'll hop back at his G4 or his G5 or his G6. You know, maybe he borrowed that from Creflo Dollar for all I know, but he'll take his gray hair, slick back head, and his little toothpick looking ass back to the mothership. And he'll hold some fall fish fry or some winter luncheon or some spring barbecue bash with his National Inaction Network thing that he got going on. And 2024, right around the corner. And it's going to be all this fear mongering, all this guilt tripping, all this cussing out black folks because black folks have had enough of you shills and you politicians that's supposed to be for the black community but have done nothing for the black community. You will run out and do everything for other groups, whether it be for Asians, Israel, Palestine, whoever. You do anything for everybody else but for the black community. And then you wonder why we won't give you our vote. We wonder why we celebrate your demise. And we feel absolutely nothing for you. And no amount of guilt tripping or shaming from Roland Martin, who be looking like his clothes come from Bed Bath and Beyond, is going to change that. So, Sheila Jackson Lee, this is only the beginning. Because if you think you're going to keep that seat in Congress, you got another thing coming because that's just phase one. Phase two is when you get your ass put in retirement from that congressional seat. I mean, y'all have to understand when these politicians go to DC, it is a way for them to acquire wealth because the the way the laws are set up, it basically enables the politician to commit bribery legally. That's what basically what it is. That's why, even though you have the Stock Act, which is Stop Trading on Congressional Knowledge, these politicians like Sheila Jackson Lee could come in broke as fuck and within a few years come out multimillionaires is because they have inside information and they act on that inside information. And with all the corruption, with the money that flows around DC, with these donors and lobbyists and other special interest groups, Sheila Jackson Lee will make out like a bandit and she will get retirement. Because if you don't know, all you have to do is 5 years in Congress and you get a pension for life. Meanwhile, a person like me who did 20 years in the military, uh, we pretty much get a piece of check and a little bit of disability and some free food at Golden Corral every Veterans Day. But they want to sit up here and tell you or tell us that we can't get reparations, even though we earned it, we deserve it, we are owed that, and but yet they're telling us we can't get reparations for whatever inexplicable reason. But they supposed to be the voice of the black community. You motherfuckers ain't shit. You hear me? You people in the Congressional Black Caucus, you motherfuckers ain't shit. You're useless. I don't even know why you even so much as have that Congressional Black Caucus. For what purpose? Y'all don't speak for the black community. If anything, you guys talk down and speak against the black community. And I'm supposed to sit up here and feel for you when you lose your elections and all that, when you haven't done your part? Get the fuck out of here. Ain't no way in hell I'm gonna sit up here and call myself throwing support for this fraud and Sheila Jackson Lee when she had done nothing for her people out in Houston. And you supposed to be a representative. Well, obviously, people like you, Sheila Jackson Lee, misrepresent what the word represent means. Y'all here misusing the word representative. That means when the people that you supposed to serve tells you, hey, this is the agenda that we want you to take to DC, then you take your old cockeyed titty fucking menopause having ass up to DC and you fight for those agenda that was set forth by your constituents. That's how it works. What's up, RG Titan? This is a this is a beautiful day, but this ain't it. It ain't over. Like I said, this ain't over because Sheila Jackson Lee could reapply to become a congresswoman on tomorrow. So she would have to readjust, reset, and basically redo everything so that way she could become a congresswoman again out in Houston. The state senator fired off more shots toward Jackson Lee, claiming the congresswoman took credit as one of the only local officials to bring money to Houston while serving as a representative of Congress. He also shouted out one of his endorsers and supporters, Representative Sylvia Garcia, who joined them on stage. Whitmire succeeds Mayor Sylvester Turner, who is at his term limit after serving 8 years as mayor. That's right. So Sylvester Turner, he up out of here. He had his term limit. But I found this piece from the Gazette, the Houston Gazette, right? And it it basically laid out 4 issues with Sheila Jackson Lee, right? 4 issues. So it said that Jackson Lee has struggled in recent months as leaks about her staff management raised concerns and mistakes by her campaign left some voters confused about when they were supposed to vote. If the self-inflicted wounds were enough, both Jackson Lee and Whitmire have the external problem of historically low turnout for the Houston mayoral runoffs. Jackson Lee was missing a key block. A recent public media Houston Chronicle political science and population health poll found that Whitmire leads Jackson Lee 42.35% with 22% percent undecided. Roughly two-thirds of white voters support Whitmire and two-thirds of black voters support Jackson Lee. Whitmire appears to have the advantage among Latino, Republican, and conservative voters after he received several important endorsements, including Sylvia Garcia, the Democrat out in Texas, Democratic State Senator Carol Alvarado, and former Houston City Councilman Jack Christie. Jackson Lee, on the other hand, did not get as many key endorsements. The University of Houston political scientist Geronimo Cortina said. Political scientist Brandon uh, Rottinghouse said that Whitmire's support from Republicans in the runoff election could prove effective. So, so you had that. And then when it comes to campaign financing, Whitmire was outspending Sheila Jackson Lee 9-1, dominating the city's airwaves and using the large war chest as he built up over decades spent in the state legislature. And then the recent controversy with the recording that came out. Jackson Lee's mistakes on the trail and leaked recordings, throwing her record as a boss into question, could not only sway voters' decision at the poll, they might end up convincing constituents to stay home altogether. So we talked about the leaked audio and her inability to get the constituents necessary. But how can she get the constituents necessary if she's always in DC? When she's at DC at Kamala Harris's 50th hip hop celebration at her house, or at some toga party outside Congress, or whatever. She's not in Houston. She's not down there in Texas, down there where the people are at, because she's so busy trying to be part and crowd in DC. So if you're always in DC, how can you be in Houston doing the work of the people? Unless you're not doing the work of the people, you're just there to play the role of boss bitch and collect all kinds of money and have people just blindly and aimlessly vote for you. Except these same people are not stupid, and these same people are seeing what you are and what you're doing. And they decided that no, we're not going to fall for the sham anymore. You're going to get your ass beat, and we're going to send you to retirement next year. That's what's going on right now with Sheila Jackson Lee. And you know what? I'm all for it. I'm all for these coon ass motherfuckers get their ass out the goddamn Congress and get some people in there that's gonna fight for our rights and fight for what we deserve in the form of reparations and getting qualified immunity ended, right? So these bullshit ass fucking cops who want to sit up here and skirt the law and get involved in gross misconduct can get their comeuppance. She is part of Boule, RG Titan. She knee deep in the Boule. She knee deep in the Boule. That's why she feels she could talk down on people the way she did back in October when that recording got leaked. Boy, I tell you, I don't know how I'm sit up there and let somebody talk to me like that. Well, I tell you, I'll I would be so fired up. But anyway, I thank everybody for tuning in to this epic occasion of Sheila Jackson Lee getting her ass beat in that Houston mayor race last night. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. If you're not subscribing to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. Shouts out to the LDBC. This your man. Scream at me. Hurt!